Hi, welcome to the second half of the Zenify presentation video. In the first half I talked about less is more. Let me reshape this thought and call it more of less. So again, here is our plagiarism facts, and you'll note I have the same image on both sides of the screen. And again, we can dissect this. We see Professor Donald McCabe, leading expert, blah, blah, blah. Okay? That's not a plagiarism fact. That's the name of the gentleman that wrote up this information. Designed for the last row. With these 4 bullet points in this small type, can the people in the very back row actually read it? Also, the fact that it's a low contrast, white on pumpkin pie orange. Is there a better way to present this data? So what you will see is a Zenification approach to presenting these bullet points. So there we go. We have the plagiarism facts, the original slide on the left, and the new improved on the right. So 15% of students had submitted a paper obtained in large part from a term paper mill on our website. 52% had copied a few sentences. 72% had reported 1 or more instances. And finally, 90% of the students who use the internet, blah, blah, blah. Right? So I've taken those 4 bullet points, and instead of 1 slide with 4 bullet points, I have 4 slides with 1 bullet point. I've gone strong on the achromatic +1. The number of students, the percentage, 90% for example, is in very large type, nice and red, easy to read. And there were some other subtle things that were happening here. So again, there's the original slide. I changed the order of the bullets. So rather than working, 72, 15, 52, 90, I went from small to large, increasing values. 15%, 52, 72, and 90. Again, another subtle thing that catches your eye. We start near the bottom of the slide, go up to the top of the slide as the numbers increase. So I'm telling my story, I'm crafting my message for maximum impact. The 10-minute rule. When you do a presentation, build in some time to drink water. So I'm going to drink some water while this little short video clip is running.
If keeping someone's interest in a lecture were a business, it would have an 80% failure rate. We don't know why the 10-minute rule exists, but it does. People won't remember what you're saying if they're not paying attention, right?
Sorry, what was that?
So, you have to find a way to get someone's attention and keep it for 10 minutes, and then do something to buy yourself another 10 minutes.
There you go. So that's the 10-minute rule. And the basic idea is exactly that. You have the person's attention as soon as they come into the room. After about 10 minutes, their attention is going to wane. Knock something in. Little clip of music, little clip of video. Change the lighting in the room. Change your voice. Change your position in the room. Get their attention again. Once that attention's back, away you go. Work analog. Here's what happens when you open a new PowerPoint document. You have white space staring blankly at you like an artist's canvas. What do? Here's 3 minutes of your life that you'll never get back. Okay, I want to create a new PowerPoint, so let's do that. Let's pick one off the template. Ooh, that angle, that's pretty ugly. Let's go down here. There must be something a little more dignified for my value proposition presentation. This couture one seems okay. So let's choose that one. Ooh, that looks nice. So this is our value proposition. And put a subtitle in there. It says team. Who are we? 0199 BP01. That looks good. New slide. Now I remember seeing something about the 166 rule. Have 1 main idea per slide and at most 6 bullet points and at maximum 6 words per bullet point. So let's see. Let's start right away into our value proposition. That's our big idea. And then who's this for? For busy professors in large classes. Whew, that just fits. Used to get feedback from the back row. easy to use, super light, sturdy, inexpensive, and uses standard parts. Okay, that's 4 bullets. I need 2 more bullets. Let's see. 4. What's the rest of our value proposition? For busy professors, large classes, used to get feedback from their back row. Easy to use, super light and sturdy, inexpensive, uses standard parts. Comes in black or white. And patent pending. That's a little bit fewer words, but that's okay. So we have our 6 bullet points, our 1 main idea. Let's go on to our next slide. Okay, what should we call this one? Customer segments. Who are the customer segments? Who are the customer segments? Busy professors. Well, let me think. So there you go. My advice is don't work like this. Don't open up PowerPoint and start trying to fill in the template document and work like that. Think about your presentation. Think about your message. Write it out by hand. Write it on Post-it notes. Put it up on the wall. Work analog. And I'll show you what that looks like momentarily. The other thing is there's a whole bunch of these rules, 666 rule, the 6 points on a slide and 6 words per bullet point. Ignore all of that. Ignore all that. Craft your message. This is a picture of me in my basement office getting ready for the biggest presentation of my life. What I needed to do was start with my end goal in mind. Now this presentation was for my PhD dissertation. I had to take 200 pages or so of my PhD dissertation and boil it down to a 30-minute presentation in order to impress my examination committee. What you're seeing on the wall is a timeline. So I have Post-it notes, and I've written on the Post-it notes, these are the things I need to talk about. And just like that attention span graph previously, I've modulated my presentation. So my timeline is about 30 minutes, and about, roughly every 10 minutes, there's going to be something big. So I start with my introduction, work my way across, and then bam! Here's my big research finding. Gets their attention again. Talk a little bit more about that. Bam! Here's another important outcome of my research. Talk more about that. Bam! Here's the conclusions and all of the implications for that. And that's my timeline. So I'm modulating my cognitive load of my audience, and I've got my timeline going there. Going back to this slide design, right? I've got my value proposition. This generally works okay as a title slide. It could be a little bit bigger font, but generally okay. It's everything we need to know, but not much more. The problem is, if we continue to use this slide background, it's got this frame. PowerPoint is a low information density. And by adding this template to it, we actually reduce the amount of usable space. Okay, so let me show you that with the grid. I've got a grid superimposed on this slide. So the entire slide is 8 by 6, roughly. So 48 squares. The usable space in the middle in pink is only 6 by 4, 24 squares. Half of the total area of the slide is lost by using a template like this. So think about, if you're using templates, what is the implication? How much real estate, a very scarce commodity, is going to be eaten up? Graphic assets. Now I use a lot of graphic assets in my presentations. On the right hand side, you can see there's only one graphic asset in this entire presentation. There it is. Right there. It's a little bit hard to see, so let me zoom in on that. Now, we have this clip art of a small child holding an A+ paper with some very strange eyes and odd hair. Gar Reynolds' advice is avoid using PowerPoint clip art or other cartoonish line art. Yes, it was cute in the 1980s. Right? Screen beans, cute in the 1990s. My advice, just say no to screen beans. Let's move along. Now, on this slide, we have some information. We want people to understand if they have authentic assignments, it'll help reduce plagiarism. There's 16 words in there with this rhetorical question. We can bring that down to 6 words. So I have an image which captures the notion of academic excellence with the cap on our little guy standing next to the books. We've rotated the words so it pops off the page. Design authentic assessments to prevent plagiarism. And authentic is the key word there. Again, we can think about this some more and come up with, take the 16 words of the original slide, boil it down to 4. Still conveying the same message, the same content. Again, the image connotes academic excellence. We have a smiling, happy student. Authentic assignments prevent plagiarism. That's the key message, the key takeaway. So again, we can manipulate those elements to really hit our message home. We haven't changed the content at all. Graphic assets. 4 places you can get them. You can own them, buy them, share them, or liberate them. And liberation is sort of a last resort. So here's a picture of the clock tower on Johnston Hall, University of Guelph. I took it myself. I own it. I can do with it what I want. This is a shared image of Johnston Hall. And the person who took it, Jason Swaby, posted it at Flickr and said, look, you can use this image. All I ask is that you respect the Creative Commons license. So you must give me attribution. So that's the buy part of the license. Non-commercial, you can't use it for commercial purposes. And share alike. If you modify it, you have to share it under the same license. So often you can find great pictures at Flickr. This is a liberated image. It was found at the University of Guelph website. Right mouse click, save it. If I'm using images that I don't own, I will put them in my presentations, and I will always say image sourced from and the actual name of the website. And again, that's the last resort. The third option is paid. This image I licensed from iStock Photo, so I take real cash, trade it for credits at iStock Photo, and then I purchase different images which I put into my image library. So I have graphic assets. My advice is always use licensed images. It looks really tacky if you have a presentation and you're using an image that has a watermark on it, right? This is for a comp. It's meant for proof of concept. It's not meant to be used in a presentation. So credit your sources, use licensed images. This ends the second part of the video. Stay tuned for the third part.